Have you ever sat down with a cup of coffee, your favorite pen, and a budget spreadsheet, only to realize that budgeting is less about planning and more about facing the harsh reality of your financial situation? Welcome to the world of budgeting, where the numbers don't lie, but they sure do make you cry. Let's be honest, budgeting is like going to the dentist. You know you need to do it, but you'd rather binge watch a series on Netflix. You sit there, staring at your income, thinking, wow, I made this much last month, and then you look at your expenses and whisper, how did I spend it all on coffee and avocados? Every time you write down your rent, you can hear your wallet sobbing in the background, please, not again. And let's not forget about those unexpected expenses that pop up like a game of whack-a-mole, car repairs, medical bills, or that time you decided to adopt a cat because, let's face it, you needed a furry therapist. Ah yes, a symbol of love and financial ruin wrapped in fur. Now, when it comes to budgeting, you realize that your luxury items are more like necessities in disguise. You find yourself justifying the purchase of that new pair of shoes because, hey, they were on sale, and your current shoes have a hole in them big enough to host a family of mice. Then there's the thrill of writing down your budgets, feeling like a financial wizard, until you hit that moment of clarity. Wait, I have to save for retirement? Retirement, that magical time when you can finally relax and enjoy life, but first you have to figure out how to save money when you can barely afford to buy groceries. You tell yourself, I'll just cut back on eating out, only to discover that your grocery bills are just as high because you bought that organic quinoa that cost more than your first car. And speaking of cars, have you ever noticed how they seem to eat money for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Every time you take it to the shop, a mechanic appears like a magician, pulling out bills that make you question your life choices. You think, should I really have taken that road trip last summer? Was it worth the financial hangover? Of course, it was. But your budget is now looking like a sad, deflated balloon. Then there's the monthly ritual of checking your bank account, where the balance stares back at you like a sad puppy, begging for food. You try to make a game of it, how low can you go, but there's no prize for reaching zero. You sit down with your budget and think, okay, I'll just skip coffee this week. But then your friend texts you about that new cafe, and suddenly you're rationalizing it as a social investment. Congratulations! You've just upgraded your budget from responsible adult to spontaneous coffee enthusiast. And what about that gym membership? That's a classic budgeting blunder. You pay for it every month, but the only time you see the inside of the gym is when you go to cancel it. You convince yourself that you're saving money because you aren't actually going, but every month you find a new excuse. I'll start next week, I swear. But let's face it, the only thing you've really been exercising is your ability to dodge the reality of your finances. As you navigate the landmines of your budget, you start to see that budgeting isn't just about numbers, it's about managing your emotional roller coaster. You might feel guilty for splurging or relieved when you finally stick to a budget, but in the end, it's all about finding that balance between reality and your dreams. So, the next time you sit down to budget, it's not just about knowing how poor you're about to be, but about figuring out how to enjoy life on a budget. Because if budgeting teaches us anything, it's that laughter and perhaps a little self-deprecation are the best ways to cope with financial struggles. And who knows? Maybe budgeting can be a little like a bad comedy. It's painful, but at least it's entertaining.